Welcome to video 2, where we'll focus on how to use the lessons to help you best learn your material to prepare for your exam and to use this content in future courses. Today I'm going to use lesson 1.2 as our demonstration, but this process will be the same for all lessons in all of our MTEs. If you look at my to-do list, you can see that 1.1 is done, which means I am able to go to the next item in my to-do list, which is 1.2. So simply by clicking on the name, I open up what we call the lesson screen. These three boxes, Learn, Practice, and Certify, are the bulk of your coursework and are called lessons. Regardless of whether you have tested out of this lesson through your pretest, all students must complete the learn part of the lesson so that they may complete their guided notebook. Your guided notebook must be 100% filled in for your MTE and be accurate and checked by your instructor prior to taking your final exam. So let's take a look at Learn for everybody first. When you click on Start, this is equivalent of your e-text, but it is broken up by lesson. And so we start off with the objective page that tells us what we're going to learn. The Watch button over here on the left brings up a video that is a set of PowerPoint slides with a person talking through them. This we like to call a unit overview. You may find that helpful, but there are videos within the actual lesson that you may find more helpful. So we use the next button here to the right and we will proceed to the first lesson. If you now look in your guided notebook for section 1.2, you will start to see similarities in content in both this document on the computer and the document that you have printed. However, they are not word for word verbatim. The idea of your guided notebook is for you to read and learn from the e-text in the Hawks program, and then to digest that or interpret that and fill out your guided notebook so that it provides you a basic source to go to when you need just the critical information, or to review when you're getting ready for your exam, or to reference back when you are in another MTE but you need some reminder on something in a previous MTE. I want to point out a few things. So this does scroll down if the page is longer than just one screen. And as we go over to the different activities, you'll see that when there is an example, that there is a video that will play. Here, this is a person that is actually working out with you the problem. Those are embedded throughout the course. As you go through this course, you should actively learn in it. So when there is an example, before you watch the video, try doing the example on your own based on what you have read. Once you complete an example, you could then watch the video to see if you were correct. In some cases, the examples given have a display answer so that you may see as well in that way if you are correct on the problem. So you complete the entire section for the e-text for that lesson, and then you stop there, and once you're finished, then you can click on End Learn, or you can go back through the lesson if there are pieces you want to revisit. If there are parts of this lesson that you do not understand, it is critical at that time to talk with your instructor or with one of the tutors to make sure you understand the content before going on to the actual practice and certify. So please make sure to use your instructors to help you when you have problems understanding a concept. When you are done, we'll go back to our lesson by clicking on End Learn. Again, at this point, if you pass this lesson on your pretest, you have the option to go back to your course and move forward to the next lesson. At this point, you have two choices on what to do, whether you go to practice or to certify. Let me pull up a diagram that will help you understand your choices. Okay, here is a diagram that shows us the different choices that you can make. The ultimate goal is to make sure you truly comprehend this content and could perform problems based on this content at any time moving forward. So please don't necessarily take the shortest route, but take the route that is best for you and your learning. Once you have finished your complete, the next option you have is whether to take certify or to go to practice. If you go to certify because you feel you really know this stuff, then if you pass it, you're great. You have to have scored an 85%. And if you pass with an 85%, you're ready to move on to the next unit. However, if not, you are automatically sent back to the practice where you will now be required to do the practice and earn a 100% on it before you are then allowed to go back to certify. So focus for just a moment on the blue and green boxes. You have a choice of doing certify first if you really feel you know it, but if not, you'll get booted back to practice, at which time you're required to get 100 and then move back to certify to retake again. Or you can choose to go directly to the practice and earn a 100% and then take the certify, hoping to pass with the 85. Now, what happens after you have done 100% on practice and have not passed certify? This program will actually then customize your practice based on what you missed. We'll talk about this in a little bit more when I get to certify, but you do not take an entire quiz if at any point in the quiz you have failed it. So if you have failed the quiz, you will be sent back to practice, but it will be a customized practice, only on the problems that you missed that caused you to fail. So the first decision you need to make is, do you feel you're ready to certify? And if so, you go to certify. If not, you go ahead to the practice and earn a 100%. If you have any questions about what is best for you, make sure to talk to your instructor. So let's talk about what if we went to practice. Practice is a set of problems that will help you assess and get help on what you are working on in this particular unit. If you look at this problem, which asks you to reduce, and you know the answer, it is fine to click in the box, and because it's a fraction, we may need to open the keypad where I can pick that I want to put in a fraction with a 5 in the top and a 13 in the bottom, because this one is already in lowest terms. I submit my answer and I'm told that it's correct. Let's go to the next problem. On the next problem, it wants me to write this as an improper fraction. I want to get this problem wrong, so I'm simply going to guess an answer and put in my fraction, and I'm going to put 3 over 4, which I know is not correct. I'm going to submit my answer, and now it is telling me that I'm incorrect, and I have two choices. If I have no idea what I did wrong, then explain error is going to give you the opportunity to see how the problem should be done. And then you would have to ask for a new problem. But if you look at it and go, oh, it's just a typo, then you might want to click on try again. So I clicked on try again, and I'm going to change this number to 5. I'm going to hit submit answer, and again, I'm going to be told I was wrong. But at this point, let me click on explain error and show you that it gives you information about what you might have done wrong, And then it opens up several other options. So explain error is just one level of help. Step by step is another level of help where it's going to ask you to do things step by step by step to help lead you to the correct answer. And the third option is for it to outright show you the solution and how we did the work in the HAWKS system. So you do have the opportunity in the practice to get the help you need. And then you can go back to practice. And at that point, you could click on Try Similar, get a brand new problem, and try it again. Even if you're still confused and want to look at that help again, it is always accessible in the bottom left-hand corner. Down in the left corner, I always have access to the step-by-step and the solution. Again, getting a different problem after I have used those. You can also choose, if your instructor has this feature turned on, to send this to your instructor because you are not understanding something, you want their help, or you put an answer in and you don't understand what you did wrong. Now you can send it to your instructor and it will allow you to type a note and submit to your instructor for help. So that's a way that you can work with your email. If I submitted this answer, got it wrong, and tried again, you can also skip a problem. If you skip the problem, it's going to go away temporarily, but it's going to come back. So there are 12 types of problems in this lesson that you have to master. If you skip a problem before you earn that 100% mastery, it is going to come back as another problem later in the lesson. You cannot go backwards in the problems, but if you skip it, it will put it at the end and have you come back to it. So that's a little tour of how the practice works, and the way that we have our requirements is that you must earn a 100 on the practice in order to completely open that Certify, unless you tried Certify directly. You do have the opportunity to save your lesson and come back to it, and so you would click on Save and Exit here, or if you had just clicked on it and had it really started, you can click on Exit without saving. I did save, and now if you notice, instead of saying start, it says continue. So it's going to take you right back into that lesson. So assuming we either have 100 on practice or we decided to go straight to Certify, let's take a look at Certify and see what happens there. Certify is a little bit different. Notice that the tutor button down in the bottom left is no longer available. And notice this red heart up in the top right corner. There are 12 problems and we require you to get an 85% on your Certify in order to be masters. In order to earn an 85% on this particular Certify that only has 12 problems, you can get 2 wrong. So that's what the 2 in the heart stands for up in the top right corner. You have 2 lives, and once you exceed those 2 lives, it means we would have failed the quiz, and now we're going to be booted out of Certify back to practice. So let's get a couple right and then let's get a couple wrong. This one wants to go from a mixed to improper, so that would be 24 over 7. Get my fraction, and 24 over 7. I'm going to submit my answer. We know at that point that it's correct, so we did not lose a live on the heart up in the top hand corner. So you know each time you submit whether you got it right or wrong, and so it's important to know that you can't go back to the problem. So you have to be sure of that answer when you hit submit. Let me show you what happens when you get it wrong. So I'm going to just put in some answer that I know is not right, and I'm going to hit submit. Notice that it now says you are incorrect, and you can choose to either see the whole solution or to see just the answer. I recommend you take the time to view the solution because a similar type problem may come up later and you don't want to lose 2 lives when in fact you could have seen exactly how to work it out here. Help you remedy the mistake right then. Make a note on your paper of what you did wrong. Notice that the heart now went to a 1. So as long as I don't lose that life, then I will be okay. But if I lose more than 2 lives, then I'm going to get booted out. So we would continue in this fashion to do the quiz, hoping to not lose more than the 2 lives we were given. The 2 lives, I want to show you what would happen. So let me put in one more wrong answer here. And it tells me I'm wrong. I can display the solution or the answer. When you display the answer, you only get the answer. That's why I recommend display the solution. Notice the number went to 0, but I still got another problem. So this means I can't miss anymore. As long as I get the rest right, I will still master the quiz. So I'm going to get this one wrong again so that we can see what happens if I use up all my lives. Again, it tells me the same thing. And now when I click next, I have been booted out of the quiz. So I do not have a choice but to go back to practice. Now, because I didn't finish that practice with 100% before I went into Certify, you'll see practice to unlock Certify. You would have to do that first in order to get back to Certify. But once you have a 100% on practice, that button is going to go away because you have done the 100% that unlocks Certify. Now in order to go back to Certify, I need to practice the missed questions. It's only going to give us 3 questions. It's going to be very specific to the 3 that I missed. But now the tutor button becomes available and I can get help on this problem. So it works the exact same way as the original practice, but it's only going to give you information about what you missed. Once that's completed and you go back to the Certify, which now I'm not able to do because if you look in the green box, it's not bright green, it's dulled out. And it says over in the blue box, you are required to attempt 100% of practice before starting Certify. So it's going to tell you what you have to do. If you only need to complete the customized practice, then it would tell you that as well. So between practice and Certify, our goal is to keep you moving forward by identifying what you don't understand and forcing you to practice that. It is important for you to reach out to tutors and instructors if you are getting stuck on material and having to take Certify more than about 3 times. This same exact sequence is what happens over and over and over in all of the units, and it all works the exact same way. In order to take your final exam, you must have all the lessons certified. You must do the exam review lesson, which looks just like this, but you would not have necessarily the guided notebook and the Learn. That would be there as a resource. But the practice and the Certify will be there for you. And then when you have certified the review, you are welcome at that point to take the final exam if you are ready. So please make sure to ask questions if you're not clear about the path you should take, but work hard at each level to actually master the material and not just temporarily learn the material. Work hard, be successful.